Hi guys, welcome back to Zone Comfort. Today we're going to do one of my absolute favourite comfort foods of all time, a wonderful, creamy, rich, smoky dal. So we're going to start with the lentils. In this case I'm using yellow split peas, and all we're going to do is take a knob of ginger, crush it under the flat of the knife and pop it straight in with the lentils, and then we're going to go for a few of our spices. Here I've got just a general curry powder. This one's very heavy on the cumin and coriander. Here a little bit of fenugreek, and most importantly turmeric. As long as you've got the turmeric in there, you can really put whatever spicing you like in. You can chuck all that in the pan and cover it with fresh water to about 4 or 5 centimetres, 2 inches above the level of the split peas. Pop it on the hob and bring it up to a boil. As soon as it comes up to a boil, we're going to turn it down to a simmer, and you can pretty much then just forget about it. To go with the dal, one of my favourite things to do is to make some chapatis. So here I've just got some whole wheat flour. This is about 200 grams of whole wheat flour with a hefty pinch of salt, and I'm just going to mix that salt through, and then once that's mixed through, bit of fresh water straight in the bowl. And at this first sticky stage it's really handy to just use a spoon to just start the mixing process off. This will produce quite a sticky dough. This is great when you're making flatbreads because you can use lots of flour to roll it out without worrying about the flour drying out the dough too much. So once this is roughly mixed in, all I'm going to do is going to set it aside and let the water hydrate the flour properly in a process bakers like to call autolyzation. It's really a kind of what lets the proteins in the flour start to work without having to do masses and masses of kneading in order to force them to do that. So just cover it with a cloth, pop it off to one side. You can do this well in advance. I'd suggest leaving it for at least 20 minutes. When we come back, what you see now is the dough's homogenised quite a bit more and it's less sticky than it was. That's just purely from sitting, not doing anything else. So we're going to sprinkle a bit of flour on the work surface, take the dough out and start to work it a little bit to make it nice and smooth. Like I said, because the dough's quite a sticky dough at this stage, don't be afraid to add plenty of flour in order to help work this through. So just working the dough, stretching and squashing the dough out. Once that stage is done, we can then pop it back in the bowl. A little drop of oil in the bowl to help stop it sticking, and we'll go back and check on our dal. So this is now simmering away nicely. Let's go back to the chapatis. We've taken the lightly oiled dough out of the bowl, spread it out a little bit, and we're just going to cut it into 6 sections. In each section, just give it a quick roll into a little ball as a kind of pre-shape for the dough. When you've got those, plenty of flour on your work surface, pick up your first ball of dough, roll it around a bit in the flour, and then start to flatten it out just with your hands. By flattening it out this early stage into a rough circle with your hands helps you with the shape of the dough later on. The beauty of these chapatis is they're not a fancy brioche, they're not a fancy baguette that's got to be perfectly shaped. You can make them any shape you want. Round is the traditional shape, but it really doesn't matter if they're not quite straight, if they've got wonky edges. That's part of the beauty of it, really, at this stage of learning. Even after years of doing this, it takes me a while to get back into the swing of doing them and getting them round every time. So really, don't panic about it if yours are coming out all kinds of wonky. It's about the flavour and the fact that you've just made your own bread to go with this wonderful dal that we're making. So once this is all flattened out, we're going to go straight into a nice hot pan. The thicker, heavier base pan you can use, the better for this. Looking at it on a kind of medium-high heat. If you're at all unsure, work with it a bit lower. As you get more used to it, you can gradually crank the heat up and you get used to what you're looking for. After a couple of minutes on one side, we're just going to turn it over. You should see some speckling on the other side where it started to cook on the pan. And after another couple of minutes on the second side, turn it back. You should hopefully see it start to puff up a little bit. In this case, the little bits that have puffed up are just caught on the bottom of the pan. You can see those darker rings there. But that's not a problem. It's going to taste delicious. Once you've cooked your chapatis, wrap them in a tea towel just to keep them warm and moist. And then we're going to go back to finishing the dal off. So, checking the peas, and they're lovely and soft, they're crushed without any pressure at all from the fork. So we're just going to pop all those back in. That means they're nearly there. Don't be afraid at this stage if you need to add a little bit more water, to add a bit more water. So we're going to make the temper for the top of the dal now. This is really key to the flavour of it. Take a couple of cloves of garlic and slice them up nice and thinly. Really key here is to get them as even as you possibly can. And then back into your skillet, we just did a quick wipe out to remove any flour. We're just going to put a couple of small spoonfuls of oil and a sprinkling of some whole spices. So in this case, I'm using some mustard seed and some black onion or nigella seed, which is also known as black cumin in some places as well. Once they're in the pan, they're starting to pop, as you can see. I'm going to chuck the garlic in there as well, and then start working that around so that nothing burns too much. But we are looking for quite a dark colouring here, far darker than you get in a lot of the Western style cookery, where you're just looking to soften things. Here you're actually looking to get a dark brown colour onto the garlic and the spices that go with it. So after about a minute and a half of turning it around the pan, you can see this golden brown colour starting to appear. So we're almost there. We just want to make sure that it happens evenly. So all we do then is take all that spice mix and chuck out the oil and chuck it straight in the top of the dal. This tempers the dal, and all those flavours go straight through it. Stir it in, add a little bit of salt to season, and we're ready to eat. So a nice steaming bowl full of dal, and we're going to grab our fresh chapatis that we just made warm, and as you can see, sitting them in this tea towel keeps them lovely and soft and pliable and perfect for just folding up and scooping up lots of this delicious, life-soothing dal. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Please give this dal a try. It's absolutely brilliant, especially if you're having a bit of a dark day. It really is just wonderfully comforting. It's such a great, rich texture, and yet so simple ingredients. I can really see why it's become the cornerstone of such a massive cuisine as there is in the subcontinent. So please check out the rest of my videos. If you like it, hit subscribe, and we hope to see you again soon. Take care of yourself.